everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith Phillips. It's October 7th. We are already a whole week into October and Preptober, which is exciting. We've got a lot going on today. Which I am super excited about. So let me share the game plan for this weekend. I do have a long weekend. We have Monday off as a holiday here in the States, so that's super exciting. And for today, Saturday the 7th, I have 3 things that I'm hoping to at least dabble with. Thing number one that we're going to tackle first, because it's the thing I least want to do, is the synopsis. So if you're new around here or you've missed the last couple of vlogs, I've been working really hard the past year to revise my current work in progress, which is the first book in a Regency romance series. And I was originally hoping to have it ready to query in like January, early February of 2024, just a couple of months from now. But there's been a mentorship program announced for alumni of a workshop I took earlier this year, and I'm hoping to apply for that in 2 weeks. Applications for that open in 2 weeks. I'm really excited. I don't know if I'll get in. There aren't very many spots available, but I'm definitely going to apply. And one of the things we need in order to apply is a synopsis, the cursed synopsis. I already have a query letter ready to go. I will probably reread that and pick at it a little bit more, but it's, I think, pretty solid. Hopefully. But for the synopsis, in case you're unfamiliar with what exactly that is, a synopsis is a summary, surprise, of your entire book. Not just like a back of the book, a blurb where you end with like, what's gonna happen next? Read the book to find out. It's not supposed to be a teaser. You tell everything. You tell all the major plot points, any kind of spoilers, twists, you tell the ending, you tell the whole thing. The trick with the synopsis is that generally they have to be pretty short, like a page or 2. Sometimes you get a little more wiggle room and they might ask for 1,000 words, up to like 1,500 is kind of the most I've heard people asking for. But generally it's a 1 or 2 page synopsis, 1 or 2 page summary of your entire book. How do you summarize the entire book into like 500 words? It's tough. Last weekend I did that though. I sat down, I wasn't vlogging it, but I worked from an outline to create an 800-ish, 850-ish word synopsis, which I'm counting as like my long one. I did decide to do like all 3 because I don't know what they're going to ask for, so I want to have all 3 available and ready to go and just done. So I did a really long one that's over 800 words. I took that and refined it down to about 550 words to fit on 2 pages. That wasn't too hard. Going from the longer one to the like middle size one was okay. But then I had to take the middle size one and reduce it down to like 250 words to fit on 1 page. That was a challenge. How do you, it's like impossible. It made me appreciate so much more people who are writing like fantasy books or something where they've got like 4 POVs and there's like, you know, 1 story happening over here and 1 story happening over here. And like at the end of the book, the stories come together. I'm like, how do you summarize that in 250 words? I don't know. I had a tough enough time as it is with my book, which is pretty straightforward in terms of the plot. I think the thing with the shorter one that was like annoying for me is that I felt like I only had the word space to tell what was happening, but not why it was happening. I don't know how you can fit the what and the why. But then without the why, it's almost like it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm hoping they ask for a 2-page one because the 2-page one I think is better for sure. I haven't looked at them since last week. And the first thing I want to do today is go back in, reread them, fiddle with any little fiddly things I want. And then I'm going to send them to my critique partners and ask for their feedback on those. And then hopefully later this week or next weekend, maybe once I've gotten that back from them, I'll be able to refine them a little more, do any revisions that they've suggested, and then they'll be ready to go to hand in with this application that I'm going to work on next week, 2 weeks from now. I'm really excited. Once I'm done with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into actual Preptober work. I'll get you caught up on exactly where I am in the process, but if you haven't checked out my video from last week, the outlining video, I would suggest doing that because I'm sharing every single step I go through to prepare to draft a novel. It's just what works for me. I'm not saying it has to be what works for you, but I'll be referencing things that I talked about in that video instead of like explaining it all over again in this video, which would be kind of boring for people who already watched that video. We'll get to all that in just a little bit once I'm actually gonna start on the Preptober stuff. And then part 3 for the weekend. Sometime today, I'm supposed to get back my first chapter. I sent it to an editor and I had booked a first chapter critique with her. So she's supposed to send me back the notes on everything today, which I am excited / nervous about. And then once I get that back, I'll almost certainly want to do some revision kind of work on that first chapter. And I'm also hoping that maybe some of her notes will also then be applicable to other stuff later in the book. But if she's making notes of like general, like, hey, here's something I noticed you're doing in your writing that's repetitive or somehow amateur, you know, that might be something I do elsewhere in the book, and then I can go find those elsewhere places and fix that up as well, you know. I'll share all of the feedback kind of stuff that I hear from her, you know, not super specific because it is my first chapter, but any kind of little tidbits or tips that I think might be helpful for you, I'll definitely share that. 3 exciting things for today. We've got pumpkin spice to help us out. It is officially, I'm like, this is nano season, okay? So the pumpkin spice candle comes out for nano. It smells good in here already. So let's go ahead and pull up those synopsises and get to work on fiddling with those and getting them sent off to critique partners. And then we can do fun stuff. Here they are. Let's go. All right, we have abandoned the loose hair because I need to get it cut. It's too long, it's just in my way. And we've donned the sweater as per usual. I finished reviewing each of the synopses that I've done, emailed them to my critique partners. We'll wait to hear back on those. It's almost noon, so I think I'm gonna take just a little break to go grab some lunch because I am hungry. Then I guess we'll come back and start on outlining stuff again because I haven't gotten an email back with the first chapter critique stuff yet, so that's fine. It's only noon, so anyway. Yeah, we're chugging along. Let's go get some lunch and we'll be back to this in a little bit. All right, let's get started on actual Preptobering. So where am I in this massive outlining project I've got for myself? I'm actually pretty far along in my outline at this stage. I've gotten all of the major scenes written out as far as I can conceive of at this point. I've identified like all of the various plot beats. So I've picked out like, here's the meet cute, and here's the midpoint, and here's the breakup, and here's the grand gesture. Like I've done all that kind of stuff. There's a few pieces of the story that I need to work out before I can move on. One piece I know is just like a timing issue, like who is going to arrive to a certain place first. I'm not sure it really matters. I'm not sure. I got to kind of think through that. And then there's another piece that I'm really not sure, like, what the character would do. She has a piece of information and I can't decide if she tells this information when she learns it or if she doesn't say anything. At some point the information is gonna come out, so she can't hide it forever. I don't know. I haven't decided like how this is getting shared and with whom and when. So I need to work out those 2 pieces. Once I've done that, I think I will be ready to go to the scene by scene breakdown, which is the final thing that I have to do before I start drafting. So that's really cool. I'm not actually quite sure at this point how many scenes I've got. I should probably go in and count. I'll do that in a minute. The scene by scene breakdowns have been super, super helpful for me. Again, I detailed exactly what that is in that outlining video. I'll put a link to that below. There's also a template on my website that you can download that gives you sort of like a little cheat sheet of what it all is and a little copy paste template you could use for yourself if you wanted to try it out. So I'll link to that below as well. These individual scene breakdowns do take some time to work through, but I found it super, super helpful and very worth it last year, going through every single scene very purposefully and detailing out all this information. So I do plan to do that this year. We've still got 3 weeks left until the end, right? Yeah, basically a little over 3 weeks to go until the end of the month. Even if I only did 1 each day, I mean, that's 21 days. How many days till the end of the month? It's more than 21. 20 something, 23, 4, 5, something like that. I'm gonna do more than one a day. And my last book had 33, 34 chapters. So if I did like one each weekday and two each weekend day, like I can easily, be done with those by the time NaNoWriMo gets started. I can do more than one a day, most likely. And again, I might have to interrupt that or pause doing these if I get the feedback and then I'm wanting to do more work on book one, because that's the priority. We're keeping that the priority. For now, let's go ahead and try to figure out how to work out these last few little plot details before moving on to the scene by scene breakdown. This is really just going to be me sitting here thinking. I don't even have anything to type. So I'll check back in with you in a little bit, hopefully once I've worked these out. Okay, I just went through and counted. I have 25, maybe 26 scenes plus an epilogue. So that's a little bit shorter. I don't remember how many scenes I initially had, like in the first draft of book one. I can't remember. This feels like it's maybe a little bit shorter. Having a slightly shorter first draft than book one is not a problem. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting now. I think I've solved one of the little plot issues I was working on. The other one about like who knows what information and when, like I'm still not sure about that. That needs to happen at some point. But it's also like in the second half of the book, so it's not like there's nothing that would come before it that would like make it go one way or another. So I feel like I can kind of wait a little bit and still think about it. I might start writing scene by scene things. That's exciting. I'm really looking forward to the opening couple scenes of this book because I know exactly how like the first 3 or 4 scenes are gonna go, which is really fun because last year, oddly, the one thing that was like kind of a struggle for me last year with the first draft was the opening. I didn't feel like I had a really solid idea for how to open the book, which was weird because I feel like for me with past projects, the opening scene, I almost always have that in mind, like really early in the outlining process, and I had no idea. And I did end up, I thought of like a scene and I wrote it last year and it's changed completely. I've rewritten, I think the opening 3 chapters, like it's completely different. I changed it altogether. But this one, like if I end up changing the opening of this book, I will be very surprised because I've had this opening in mind for months and months and months and I really like it. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. And this one, I think too, like you get into the main action, I think a little bit faster. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So yeah, let me get my scene by scene breakdown stuff all set up and kind of prepped, I guess. It's just like copy and pasting the same template a bunch of times. And then I'm gonna start plugging stuff in. We're making our way. We're making our way. This is fun. Let's do it. All right, so it is a little after 3 o'clock. I haven't actually completed one. I'm kind of going through and just messing with like organizing little pieces of it. So I've done some of that. I'm kind of getting tired and unfocused though because I've been in here. I'm getting a little tired and unfocused though because I've been in here for several hours at this point. So I think I'm just going to take a little break. We've got a 3-day weekend to continue working. Jade's in here, obviously. You were doing so good. What's your problem? What? We're just not happy, I guess. Anyway, I'll check in with you tomorrow. I'm gonna go play Zelda. Hey everyone, it's Sunday and I got my edit letter back for my first chapter. So I want to share some of that with you because there were some really great little tidbits. I'll share like generally the stuff she said I did well, things I could work on. It was good. It was more than I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but she sent the manuscript back with her little, comments on different lines or different sections or whatever. And then she also sent back a 3.5 page single space, 3.5 page long letter where she was detailing like notes about the characters or notes about the tension and stakes and conflict and notes about the setting and like all this different stuff. So It's a lot of information, but really, really good, and honestly super encouraging. I think overall the chapter is strong, and a lot of the suggestions she was making was more, I wouldn't say nitpicky necessarily, but just like smaller issues that'll, it's not like I need to rewrite a whole portion, or, you know, she said like the pacing was really well done, so I don't feel like, you know, if the pacing is off, that's a little bit more of a structure sort of issue that you'd have to go in and mess with. So yeah, I'm really excited. So let me pop over here and I'll show you some of the things she said. Okay, so I can't actually show you like the actual letter because it has stuff about the chapter in it, of course. So she has this divided into characters, world building and setting, plot, tensions, stakes, first and last lines, prose level comments, and that's it. Those are like the 5 sections where she has things detailed out. So, character. She says the main character, the first chapter's from Harriet's POV. Hold on, you're going to be shaky in that position. There you go. Chapter 1 is from Harriet's POV, the main female character. She says the narration is really close, which is good, and that, you know, we're clearly seeing everything through her eyes and her interactions with other characters, which is good. I have several like secondary or side characters that are introduced in the first chapter as well. She said those were all really well done, like they all stood out as individual characters and not just sort of like cardboard cutouts in the background. So that was nice to hear. You also get to meet the love interest in the first chapter. He's not in it a huge amount. You kind of see him from a distance, and then there's a little bit of interaction, but not much. And so she did say, like, do something to sort of make him pop a little more, just because he's the love interest, so we want him to be enticing for the reader. And I definitely think I can fix that. So yeah, those are the notes on character. She says the world building, scene setting, and all that kind of stuff is strong. In the plot, tension, stakes section, she says there's a good amount of tension, like the plot is, you know, pretty clear for the first chapter. She says the stakes could be raised, and I totally agree with that, because you find out more about the stakes in like chapter 2 and chapter 3, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that, but I like the idea of raising the stakes just a little bit more so that there's, you know, that excitement for the reader. So that's one thing to work on there. First and last lines. This was super encouraging. She said the first line of the chapter, which is the first line of the book, of course, is good. She said it's really solid. It does a lot of work in terms of setting the tone, sharing my voice, introducing the main character, showing some conflict, like it does a lot. She does say the last line of the chapter could be more compelling to then, you know, propel the reader into the next chapter, so I do want to work on that. In the prose level section here, she says that the dialogue was really good and that the pacing was on point. Reading it was very easily, it flowed really well, which that was really great to hear. And then I had to laugh at this last part. She's like, she says that I do have passive voice, passive sentences in here on more often than she would advise, which I'm cackling about because she's totally correct, by the way. Totally agree with her. One thing in general that I think I'm usually like pretty good at is grammatical stuff. Like I have a pretty good understanding of like basic grammar and punctuation and all that kind of thing. I think that's something I do pretty okay. I'm not saying it's perfect, of course, but in general, it's pretty good. I have tried on so many occasions to look up videos, look up blog posts or like articles, look at examples of passive versus active voice. I know the definition of passive versus active, like I get it on a like intellectual level. Can I pick out passive voice in a paragraph? No. No. I cannot see it at all. So it totally makes sense that I've got it probably too often within this first chapter and probably within the rest of the book too. So I was like, oh my gosh, how do you, you know, I'll try to go back again and look at articles about it. Like I get what it is, but it's so hard for me to identify it within a piece of, especially my own writing. I'm gonna try to figure it out, but I think what I'm gonna do, at least as like a crutch to help me at this point, since I cannot identify it for myself. There is the Hemingway editor app. I'll put a link to it below. It's a website, it's free, and you can just copy paste into their page your document, however long it is, and it'll give you like just little tidbits. It'll be like, here's the reading level, and here's how many words you have, and it'll be like, this sentence is these sentences here are kind of too long, or they could be too complicated, or things like that. But it also will identify sentences that are in passive voice. Now, of course, this is like not a human, so it's not 100% accurate, but it will identify really obvious, like, clearly this is passive voice. And so I'm going to use that, I think, to try to fix this up, because I am unreliable in terms of identifying passive voice. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on right now. Actually, like I said, I do want to work on the outline for book 2, but book 1 is the priority, especially this first chapter, since that's what's going to be sent off to people first and foremost. So I'm going to work on revising this first chapter. I don't feel like this is going to take me a huge amount of time, but yeah, let's see how much I can get done before lunchtime. It's 11:15 right now, so we've only got like 45 minutes and I'm already hungry, but yeah, let's go ahead and do some of this and see what I can manage. I'll put a link to Marina's website below if you want to check out her services. I personally think this was totally worth it in terms of the amount of information she gave me back. And honestly, it was just a really nice boost of confidence. Just, you know, hearing her positive comments and everything. Like, it seems like it's a good first chapter. It's solid. I can do a little bit of fixing up still here, which I'm going to do, of course. But overall, I feel really good about it, and I'm excited to see how much better it sounds after I'm finished with this last little bit of revision. So let's do that. Alright, so I've been working on this for a while. I did take a lunch break. I did use several online like grammar checker things to try to help identify the passive voice sentences. I did change at least some of them. There were some where I was like, I don't know how to change this that it wouldn't be the most clunky sentence of all time, you know? So some of them I did just leave, and I know there's instances where passive voice is like, it's fine. So hopefully those are instances in which it's fine. But I did change some at least. The only two things I have left to work on now in this chapter are some other method of making the love interest pop a little more, and then thinking through the stakes issue. I don't know how to do that really. And she did say in her notes, she was like, it's not that it's a glaring issue. She was more like, if you can find a way to do this, it might be better, but she wasn't like, ooh, this is something to absolutely fix, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I might have to think about that one for a little while to figure out what I want to do. I guess let me go in, try to fiddle with this main character and see what I can do for him. Then we'll see. I don't know. I might go back to book 2 and start doing stuff there, because I really don't want to look for passive sentences in the rest of the manuscript. Ooh, it's gonna take a long time. I spent a while doing that. A long while. I hate the examples. Okay, when I've looked up examples again to try to help myself, and it's not helping because the examples they give are like super obvious. He threw the ball was thrown. Okay, yeah, like I can see how to flip it around. Like that's not hard. But my sentences aren't just straightforward, simple sentences like that. They tend to be like, you know, more complex. I'm not going to think about that anymore right now. Let's go back and do this one last little fix for now, and then we'll see what we want to do next. Okay, I've been sitting here staring at this and like adding a sentence and then hating it and deleting it for like half an hour. I really like this suggestion to add some little extra tidbit to make him stand out a little more, but I cannot think of what to add right now. I just don't know. So I'm going to leave it for now and mull it over a little more throughout the afternoon. It's getting kind of late though. It's almost 3:30 and I'm tired and my concentration is not doing so hot. So I'm just gonna sort of leave this. Maybe I'll come back later tonight. I'll definitely come back tomorrow and try to finish out revising this so I can hopefully go back to book 2's outline. We'll see how far we can get tomorrow or later today with all this. Okay, I will check back in later. Hello, it's Monday. I don't have to go to work today, so that's exciting. It's, I've had kind of a slow start to the morning, which has been nice. I want to do a little bit of relaxing today, hopefully. I got back some notes from one critique partner on the synopsises that I sent to her a few days back, and I've already messed with that this morning. She had just a few little, sort of phrasing suggestions, which I liked, so I fixed up a bit of that. I think I'm going to try going back to chapter 1 this morning and try to finish that out and just like be done with it, So I'm going to try to do that here, and then we can get back to book 2 outlining. That's the plan. But yeah, I did like chores and kind of stuff yesterday, errands and grocery shopping. So today I want to take my time doing some writing stuff and then just relax a little bit, because tomorrow I'm gonna be out late like an actual adult, because the Foo Fighter concert is tomorrow. Woo! I'm so excited. So we're gonna just kind of chill out today and then rock out tomorrow. But first writing. All right, we're gonna call that revised. It's actually less words. I know, that's pretty crazy. So it should definitely fit on 10 pages now, which I'm very happy about. It already did, so I'll just have a little bit extra space there at the bottom. I'm happy with the changes, and now I'm gonna switch gears and head back to book 2. I was thinking about this earlier, how I'm like flipping between the 2 different books, and I was afraid that kind of thing might be difficult, to be in the headspace for one story and one set of characters and then have to switch to something different. But that's what authors do, right? They might be drafting one book while they're working on like past pages for another or edits of some sort for another. And so I'm trying to see like how does it feel to be flipping through these projects like this. So far it's not been bad. It's been pretty okay. I'm not getting like confused, or I don't feel like it's hard to get back into one if I've spent time in the other. So that's good. Let's work on this outline. Okay, I've started going through this scene-by-scene breakdown stuff, and I'm noticing the entire month of September is going to be a weird one. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. There's certain things that need to happen, but it's like there's like letter sending, and of course it's ye olden England times, so it's not like letters are going to arrive to people next day. It takes like a few weeks to get responses and stuff like that. So a large portion of September is like getting little tidbits of information from different things. I'm not sure how to do this. Ooh. But see, like, this is a good reason why this is so helpful, because I realized there's stuff happening in between these 2 plot beats, but it's all little bitty things. It's not, I don't know if any of these are like a scene in and of itself, So things to think about. I'm just gonna put like brackets in here for the moment to be like, figure this out before you start writing. Because right now I'm not really sure how to handle it. So I'll leave that problem for future me. You're welcome. All right, I have gotten the bare bones of my outline into the scene-by-scene breakdown format. This is so good, because it's already pointing out to me like areas where it's like, how are you going to bridge this time gap, or is that scene you thought of really necessary, or can be combined with something else? There's also some other issues in terms of like timing of events that I'm not quite sure about, so plenty to still work on here. I haven't gone through and done any of the like individual detailing kind of pieces. I've just filled in like the setting, the POV of each scene, the date each scene is taking place on, and I've tried to identify what the magic cookie is. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out that outline video. I have all of the details in there, links to all this kind of stuff in the description on that video too. But yeah, this is already super helpful. So today is Monday, like I said, October 9th. As of tomorrow, there will be 3 weeks left in the month. So 3 weeks in a day. Tomorrow I'm gonna get absolutely no work done on this because I'm gonna be at a concert. Really, I have 3 weeks left and I can definitely finish, you know, going through all of this in 3 weeks. I think what I'm gonna try to do is do 2 of these scene breakdown things each day. That's definitely doable. And then, you know, spend extra time. That'll give me plenty of extra time to work out like plot kinks and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like I said, definitely some things to fiddle with, but overall, I think it's a fun story. I think it will be really exciting to write. I'm looking forward to it. For now though, I think I'm just gonna chill. Just gonna chill out for a little while. It's about 2 o'clock, so I've got plenty of hours left in the day to just relax. Maybe I'm gonna read. That might be fun. In the comments, let me know how your Preptobering is going. Are you going to participate in NaNoWriMo? Are you working on anything in particular right now? If you're an outliner like me, you know, how far are you into that process? If you're a pantser, like what does your Preptober look like? Do you do any, I know some people do like certain kinds of prep work, and then there's other people who do like absolutely nothing. They just like think, I guess, maybe. And then November 1st, they're like diving in. So let me know what you've been working on in terms of your writing during this month so far. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.